You know that you want to repurpose some of your content because the content in terms of shelf life on Instagram is actually quite short. You also know that in order to making sure that your content get the maximum visibility organically on Instagram, the best way to actually show your content is through Reels. So how do you actually repurpose your content into Reels? That is something we're going to cover today. Hello, my name is Yuan, founder and CEO of DailySurprisesMedia. We help coaches and service providers to get leads on Instagram in as little as 7 days, and we've created over 100 client wins just last year alone. And in today's video, I'm going to show you 3 workflows we actually use within Daily Surprises Media to turn some of our content into Reel format. Without further ado, let's get right in. Actually, before you actually watch this video, I highly recommend you check out my other videos on the screen right now, or I'm going to link in the description box below, and that is 6 faceless Reel ideas you can use today to create any content in Reel format with minimum effort. So no lip syncing, no dancing, none of that jazz. So this training is actually an extension of that training, because in that 6 faceless Reel idea training, I asked you guys to comment workflow if you want to see some of the workflows we have within DSM headquarters, and you said workflow. So here we go. We're going to do this video today. The 3 workflow I'm going to introduce you today is actually the same 3 workflows I walk you through in that video as well. So make sure that you check out that one to get the 3 other ideas you can create content in Reel format. But let's dive into the workflows now. The first workflow I want to show you is basically turning a quotation type of format content into a Reel type of format content. You can see the examples on the screen right now. And now I'm going to switch my camera because my team actually have to film the tutorial for you and have a voiceover in terms of step-by-step what you actually need to do. So here is the tutorial that my team has filmed. You want making sure that you upload a photo first if you want to use the quotation format. So once you upload the photo, you want to stretch the photo to completely fill the space of a blank Reel template. So if you want to get blank Reel template, you can actually go to Canva and create a blank Instagram Reel template. It's an option there. And next you want to apply some animation on top of the photo. So in this case, as you can see from the example before, we're actually going to move the photo up and down. So the photo movement, photo rise is going to be a great option for that. And what we're going to do is to just making sure that we're duplicating the same frame, but instead of moving up this time, we want to making sure that we're moving the photo down, so that you would have, I guess, 2 movement. One, that photo is actually flowing up, and another one which is photo actually flowing down. So that really creates some movement instead of like a static content. Obviously, when you export something in MP4 format, you can still have that as a Reel, but we really want to making sure that you have some sort of movement just to keep it very engaging and very interesting. So that's why we're applying some animations. And then after you've done that, you can see that she's now creating the quote formation kind of box where we're going to put the highlight of the post inside. It's up to you how much you want to adjust the transparency of the quote form itself, but you definitely want to lighten it a little bit so you almost look very integrated with the photo itself. Another trick for you is whenever you're doing things like this, you want to making sure that the photo behind gave you some kind of empty space, kind of solid color empty space. Can you see that she's already imported all of my templates in there already? The quote, everything that's unbranded, that's my brand font and everything. And then she will just do the same thing again, copy and paste that to the bottom of the other photo. So you can see that when she chooses the bottom of the photo, again, because the background, they have a fairly the same color in one place, it's easier for people to read. So when people are looking at this Reel, it's not just a static kind of image in the back end and then we're just changing the quote. We actually get people to change their eyes by having some animation on the Reel itself, and then having the quotes actually move, the position actually move as well, and we're actually making sure that the quotation actually moves as well. So the last step is definitely to adjust your time. So you can see that we're set to be 3 seconds to be the perfect timing, because it's a very short quote, so it's enough time for people to consume it. It doesn't stay for too long, and that's pretty much it. second type of workflow I want to show you is actually to repurpose your carousel or any informational type of content into reel format. So again, I'm going to have example here. Right now you can see what the static content look like and what the reel format look like on the screen. And again, I'm going to show you and turn my camera quickly around to show you my team's workflow, and again have my voiceover on it. Okay, so here is the tutorial that my team filmed on how we actually create those informational type of reel that you can type out. So step number one is you need to get a blank canvas for Instagram reel. All you need to do is to search that in Instagram search bar. And you can see that majority of time they gave you tons of templates, which are amazing, but we personally always like to start with a blank template so that we can, tweak everything to our branding really easily. You can see that she's using our brand blue right now as the background. And then we're going to search for background design as the keyword and go for aesthetics design, so we can add some really fun element inside the actual frame just to make everything looks really fun. And you can see that we sometimes specifically search for the elements we're looking for. So in this case, we're looking for a rectangle. So where we are going to place the writing, so the actual information inside this rectangle. And then we basically will just go to the text section to actually input what we want to put in there. Once you put the text in there, just to make things fun, you can obviously change the angle a little bit so it looks a bit more fun in terms of reading rather than everything just looks really neat together. Can you see that she's loading in all of the key points we want to mention in that post? So now you can see that we're basically putting all of the context, all of the wording we want to have in there. And then the next step, once we have everything in place, is to add some fun animation in place. And you can see that we're adding different types of animation on different wording just to make everything looks really fun together. So when you actually play that really short clip, you can see there's multiple different animations in one place. It just makes the content really fun to look at. And you can see that we're changing the design a little bit on the next page. It's not something necessarily you have to do. You can definitely stay with the same template throughout the whole reel, but because, as I mentioned before, we want to make sure things looks really fun, things are changing always. So you can see that we're going back to background design again, adding some more aesthetic design, like some really fun elements in it, so we can change things up a little bit to still have people's attention. But very similar process to before. Once you have a background that looks really pretty, then you can add wording where you want it to and then just animate the wording. And once you've done that, we're basically going to copy and paste again the background because we're happy with the background. We're basically just changing the context of the next slide, but we pretty much just repeat the same process again where we're just changing the copy and keep everything else the same. Because there are lots of wording on the page, we tend to keep at least 5 seconds just to give people some time to read through. And just in case you wonder, we're actually repurposing one of the carousel posts we had in the past. And on carousel posts, obviously each page we have some information on it, and that's how we actually deciding how many slides we need in a reel format as well. So that's a little trick for you. So that's a quick trick for you to quickly repurpose your carousel into reel. And you can see that normally at the end screen, we have some sort of call to action. We'll ask people to actually save and share. And to make it look more kind of on brand also with Instagram side as well, what you can do, you can see we can go to elements and we type in Instagram save, share or comment. Then we can get those elements into the post as well. And those yellow color, those are actually my brand yellow color as well. You can definitely change into whatever your on brand color is. It may look like a lot of work right now, but remember, once you have the template in place, in another time, if you want to create something similar, you can always just change the copy within the reel and keep everything else the same. So once you've done it once, you can definitely reuse the template again and again, and that's going to speed up your content repurposing process. The last type of workflow I want to share with you today is actually repurpose any kind of other format of trainings that you may have, no matter if you run a webinar in the past or doing YouTube tutorials or you're giving Facebook Lives. You want to turn those into kind of Instagram reel format. I'm going to show you my workflow. Same thing as before. I'm going to give you some example on the screen right now to show you what it looks like on YouTube and what it actually looks like in reel format. I'm going to turn my camera around as always to show you the step-by-step tutorial. Okay, so here is a quick tutorial video on how we actually turn any of our YouTube training into a quick Instagram reel. So what we normally do is we don't actually share the whole Instagram into kind of IGTV. You can see on the top where I named IGTV repurpose. That's what we used to do. So previously we actually just move all of YouTube content directly onto Instagram in IGTV format. But after a while, we realized that it doesn't perform as well as a reel. So what we decided now is to actually do a teaser. So out of the, let's say 10 minutes, 15 minutes tutorial I share with you on YouTube, I actually just do a snippet of it and just almost the highlight part, like a sneak peek of what we're talking about in that video. And I normally cut it down to, let's say 30 seconds to 60 seconds to give people an idea of what I'm actually talking about on my YouTube channel. And once I cut down into 30 to 60 seconds, obviously up to you. If you want to make it really short, say only 10 seconds, it can be done as well. Just as long as, you know, it has some value within that short video. You want to making sure that everything you do always adds value to your audience. What we then have here it's just a template that we have created and we actually use many times over. So if you go to my Instagram, you go to any of the reel that we have, that is a repurpose from YouTube content, you can definitely see this. This will become very familiar to you. We basically use the same format every single time. So the title of the YouTube video on top, obviously we can change these anytime we want to change it. We have the kind of my name there. We have check out my YouTube channel for the full training. I'm giving them a bit.ly, like a short URL link as well. Because obviously my YouTube is fairly small right now, so I don't have a YouTube / my brand name. That can only come, I think, after I get the first 1,000 subscribers or something like that, or maybe even higher. So that's why we're sticking with bit.ly link, because I actually know people are actually using that. We can see people using this link in my tracker backend. So that is telling me that's working. So after I have the template in place, I just always making sure obviously the title is correct. And then what I would do is to actually go to the video section. You can see I've actually helped my clients to repurpose some of their content as well, but I would drag mine in, collapse this. So you see, so you see the main part of what I do. So you can see that this is actually a YouTube video that I've done, I think from last week. And I just kind of stretch it out because obviously YouTube format is a little bit different from Instagram. It's kind of like, instead of vertical, it's horizontal. So I just basically fill in the space and that's pretty much it. And once everything's ready, I just gonna go share, go to download, and I would only download the first page. At this point in the video, you've learned exactly how we actually repurpose our content into Reels in Daily Surprises Media. I gave you 3 exactly flows to show you how do you turn kind of quotation format content into Reel, how do you turn an informational or carousel type of post into Reel, as well as how do you actually turn any of your normal training video format into a Reel content. While you're waiting for next week's video, making sure that you check out the video I mentioned in the beginning of this training is going to show up on the screen right now as well. And that is the 6 faceless Reels ideas. So not only you know how to now repurpose your content into Reel, you can actually create new content from scratch in Reel format as well. That's not going to take a long time. Hope you enjoyed this video. Any questions, drop in the comments below, and thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.